In this episode, I'm here with Gage Galusha, and we're going to talk about how you can start becoming a high performer.
If you own a gym or you need a gym, this is your guy.
My name's Mike, and I help fitness studios that are ready to take action, work hard, and grow their studios. In this very saturated industry, there's tons of competition, but the opportunities are incredible. We'll cover the most common challenges in the fitness world and invite guests in the show that have learned to overcome them and share their strategies with you. This is the GSD Show. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Arce, and welcome back to another episode of the GSD Show. And today I'm here with Mr. Gage Galusha. Gage, welcome to the show.
Hey man, pleasure to be here.
So there's a reason I have Gage on the show, and it's because not only are you a high performer, but you work with high performers, and you know exactly what that's all about, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's stuff in here we're gonna cover in this episode, and this is stuff that I talk about with my team, my coaches, my coaching clients, and really it's a concept of what got you here won't get you there. You know, you got your business start doing 10 grand per month, that's great, but those same things aren't gonna get you to 100 grand per month. You know, LeBron James isn't still running the same plays that he ran in junior high. You got to read, you've got to upgrade the people you spend time with, and you've got to take care of your body and treat your body right? Burning the midnight oil when you first start your business is totally fine in the beginning, but that could only last for so long. You know, and I think when we first start our businesses, we tend to treat our bodies like Jeep Wranglers, where it's, you know, we just put all sorts of miles on it in a short period of time, we put it through hell, and we test its limits, we put dents in it, but the high performers, the people that you and I know, the people we look up to, those guys treat their bodies like Formula One race cars. They know exactly what they put in their bodies, by how much, they know why they put those things in their bodies, they fix things as soon as they know they're broken, and they practice prevention of all those things as much as possible. And so I think if you really want to start upgrading your lifestyle, the first thing people need to do is they need to upgrade themselves.
Absolutely, 100% agreed. Best cure is prevention, absolutely.
So you work with these high performers. So what's one thing that you would say is significantly different between them and everybody that's, for the most part, average in their performance?
The routines that they create, the scheduled time, they dedicate their time to what they know they're going to get the most value out of.
So when you say routines, like give me an example of a couple different types of routines somebody would have.
As soon as you get up in the morning, as soon as you go to bed, those pretty much, you know, that sleep time is very valuable. So everything before and after that is going to be very, very crucial to how you set up momentum for the day and how you wind down and get ready for the next day.
So having like a good morning routine, that's like no matter what, these guys, these high performers all have these things down?
Absolutely. Whether it's 1 or 10 things, everybody's always got to have their thing.
Okay, so give me an example of like a morning routine that you see the most successful, or some ideas, because you said some people may have just one thing that they add in their morning routine, some people have 10. So I have a morning routine that I do as well, but I'd like to hear from you, what are some of the things that you hear these guys doing?
I mean, a big thing in the morning is going to be, a lot of people are talking about nowadays, is meditation, some type of breath work or mindfulness, something to bring your conscious to a centered focus so that you have to be that ability moving throughout the day.
I think when some people hear meditation, depending on who you are, right? The high performers are like, oh, meditation, yeah, for no matter what. I think almost everyone I've talked to that's like a really successful business person actually does meditate in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
But I think most of the world, when they hear meditation, they think like, you know, like they sit there, they don't know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
But they feel like, I think some people just kind of feel like it's corny.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, I think there's definitely a stigma behind it.
Okay, so let's get those people over the hump, because I think that's important for them. So tell me what meditation is to you and why you think it's important to implement.
I think meditation, personally from my own experiences, is a concentration more than anything. It's to bring the ability for the mind to focus on one particular thing. So if you're going to be a high performer, you know what your vision, your mission, vision, values, where you're going, that destination is, and you're moving towards that is, you know, in the best way that you know how to. And I think meditation only takes yourself and it replicates that journey with you first, so that you can bring that onto your work, your team, everybody that you're surrounded by.
You meditate?
Absolutely.
Every day?
Yes.
No matter what?
Yep.
So you meditated today?
Yep.
So you said you focused on like one thing, right?
Yep.
What was that one thing today for you?
The breath.
So all you thought about was what, like the way it felt going in and out, the way it sounded?
I just focus on, I do a couple different breathing exercises myself, and it's just focusing on the breath. So let the breath do what it wants. Kind of get out of your own way and let the breath take control, because once we allow that breath to deepen, then we can allow that experience to deepen as well.
Hey guys, as you can tell, Gage seriously knows what he's talking about when it comes to health, nutrition, and overall well-being. And today, he's giving away something really cool to help you discover what your health actually looks like. A list of the male and female comprehensive panels. Go to the gsdshow.com/E067. And our Spiritual Meathead covers the best tests for organic acids, hemoglobin, food intolerance, and more. Again, that's the gsdshow.com/E067. Thanks, and back to the episode. Okay, and how long do you do that for?
Depends on the time period that I have. I do a couple different breathing exercises, like I said, for a certain amount of repetitions, and then however long that takes. Sometimes I do 1 to 3 rounds, depending on how it feels. But I think 5 minutes. If you don't have 5 minutes to do it, then you need to do it for 10.
Okay. So for those people that they don't even know how to get started on it, and what's going to happen, because I know it happened to me. I do meditate, but it was weird in the beginning.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like I'm sitting there and I can't get my brain to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, I was able to do it, but it took a long time and I thought it was hopeless. But I felt like I would start focusing on one thing and then I wouldn't know when the switch happened, but like somewhere within a few seconds, I was somewhere else.
For sure.
And I had to keep bringing myself back. So what books have you read, or what YouTube videos or people do you felt like, how do I learn how to meditate from this moment on if I don't know how to do it?
I think the meditation is, not to overthink it, and just very simple. Just like I said, focus on the breath, or bring one word, whether it be relax or love or dedication, or whatever word that you want to be able to align yourself with, and just repeat that over and over and over again. And once your mind wanders, bring yourself back to it and then keep going. And the more that you do it, the better you'll get.
Standing, sitting, laying down?
My personal opinion is if the spine can be the most flat as possible. So if you
on your back,
feet up the wall, laying on your back, if you can find a good seated meditation posture, like a lotus, if you're flexible enough, anything to keep the back flat as possible.
So our whole company's going to California this weekend. Would it be weird for you guys if you woke up and you saw me laying on my back with my feet up on the wall? Do I have permission to do that this weekend? Yes? Good. Okay, great. Because I may do that this weekend. What other morning routines do you think, outside of meditation, what else are these high performers doing?
I think a big thing that, in my opinion, to be a high performer would be to see the sun, to be able to get some red light as soon as you wake up in the morning. It really balances out all the hormones in your body, gets you set for the actual cycle of the day. So your wake and sleep cycle is improved, and better sleep, better quality of life.
I thought it was bad to look at the sun.
It is not bad to look at the sun, but it depends on the type of hours that you're looking at it. So that's a whole different conversation. Don't stare at the sun. Go outside. Look. Show some gratitude for it. Get some sun on your bare skin, and whether that's whatever you have time for. 5 to 20 minutes.
Got it. Okay. What else? What other morning routines are you seeing?
I think some supplementation is a good thing. Whether it's some people supplement with coffee. Usually recommend that after food. Some type of fat that really gives the brain something to perform on, whether it be MCT oil. I know like the Bulletproof guys got brain octane and stuff like that going on nowadays. Some type of big burst of nutrients is always good for the body as well. So if you get a green drink, different things like that.
Okay. Now really quick, I want to take it back a step because you mentioned caffeine, coffee, right?
Yep.
So last time we talked, I had just submitted to do my blood, find out what my blood type is and all that. Well, I found out what it is. It's an O positive.
Yep.
And according to the blood type diet book, which is like Eat Right for Your Type, I think that's what it's called, Eat Right for Your Type. It says that my blood type doesn't do well with caffeine or alcohol. The alcohol is fine.
Right.
But the caffeine part, I just got all this bulletproof stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the blood type diet and how much of that is should I stick to?
I think that everything works till it doesn't work. So if you find that you feel good and you find that you have good sleep, elimination, and digestion, and you're drinking coffee, then stick with it. If you're doing your blood work, if you're understanding all the things that you need to be a high performer, then then there's no reason to cut it out. But if you do want to, then I mean, there's always the tea. The whole bulletproof coffee thing originated from tea anyway. So
Okay. So now there's different diets out there. There's the blood type diet,
Yep.
which we just kind of touched on. There's a ketogenic diet. There's the paleo diet. There's all these random things, and every like couple years there's a new thing coming up.
For sure.
So what are your thoughts on the blood type diet, the ketogenic diet? Well, first let's describe it. What's the blood type diet in your? Do you know your blood type?
Yes.
What are you?
A positive.
Okay, so you're an A positive. Now, do you know that because you wanted to find out to be able to eat for it, or did you just know that for some reason in the past?
For donations, and then that turned into, okay, well now I know, what do I do with it?
Okay, cool. So do you eat specifically for your blood type at any time?
Pretty much. It kind of
You do?
organically happens that way, but just because of the quality of food that usually comes with it.
Okay, so now you're an A positive, and so that's a lot more like vegetarian or something, right? That's what it was? I think that's what I read.
It's kind of pescatarian with like digest fish well, and that's about it.
Okay, good. So you do eat a lot for your blood type. So do you believe in the blood type diet?
You know, it's just from my experience and seeing a lot of blood work that, and like food intolerances, that's going to be it's going to be a large amount of people are going to fit that mold when you look at, what they're intolerant to, what they're dealing with, what they're actually drawn to, and things like that. But I wouldn't say that it's the end all be all by any means,
Okay, so now we got the blood type diet, which I've been doing now for about a week and a half, and it kind of sucks because I'm half Italian, half Hispanic, and it says I can't have pasta,
Yep.
I can't have bread, I can't have tomatoes, and I can't have cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know I grew up with a plate of pasta with sauce, with cheese, and bread on it?
For sure.
And that whole, I have, according to the book, I'm safer eating the plate.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So tell me, like, how bad is it for me to tell my mom I can't have this anymore? Should is it okay for me to have this once a week, or how bad does it play into like my performance?
I mean, everything that you do to make your health better is always going to be a deposit. So the bigger deposits that you make, then you can take out those withdrawals. As it gives you some room to play. But at the end of the day, you always got to see, hey, if I eat that after I just ate clean for 90 days and I eat a big thing of cheesy tomato pasta with garlic
You're gonna
bread,
be in the bathroom for a little bit.
you might be in the bathroom for a bit, or you might need some extra sleep, or work might not be so good because you can't focus for a couple days. Depends.
Got it. Okay. All right. So now the blood type diet. Now just kind of quickly describe what the blood type diet is for the people listening, because I do like the concept. I thought the book was really interesting.
Yeah, it's just essentially depending on where the blood types go back long ways, as far as the original with being the O, and then we kind of made these different adaptations as human beings to different digestive enzymes and stomach acid development throughout time to be able to digest the nutrients that were necessary, whether it be more meat because we're hunter-gatherers, to now we're in the, have these big crops, and we need less to be able to break down meat and more to be able to digest nutrients from plant-based things. So it pretty much goes on that and saying, hey, if you have the ability to digest this very well, then you should eat it. If not, then stay away from it.
Yeah. So for me, it said I was an O.
Yep.
And O's have a stronger stomach acid that makes it really easy to digest meat, break down meats.
Yep, high levels of hydrochloric acid.
Okay. And so they were saying from what I'm gathering, like the ketogenic diet or the paleo, in a good, healthy way,
Yeah,
is a good idea for me.
for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So I did the ketogenic diet, and I did feel really great on it. And my wife felt like shit on it.
Yeah.
And it was really within the first day. In the first day, my wife comes down, she's like, oh man, I feel so tired. My head's killing me. And I'm like, I feel great.
Yeah.
And do you think it could be because of she's a different blood type than I am?
I think that's one of the factors, but I don't think, like I said, that's the end all be all. I think that if you take the time to actually adapt to the ketogenic lifestyle, if you will, then you will end up in a position that it can benefit you.
Okay. So when I did the ketogenic diet, I got in ketosis right away.
Yep.
And I got what's called the keto rash, which I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I was just itchy in my chest and here in my arms and on the inside. And I was like, what the hell? Why am I so itchy? And so the only thing I changed was that I did ketogenic for 3 days or 2 days.
Yeah.
So I just Googled keto rash just to type it seemed like it makes sense. And it was actually called the keto rash.
Right.
And that happens, that's like some people get it, most people don't, and it's a clue that you've now entered ketosis.
Totally.
So So tell me what ketosis is.
Ketosis is, in the simplest terms, most people run on glucose coming from carbohydrates. It's the main source of energy that kind of gives us all the energy that we need. Ketosis is depriving our body of that glucose, and it's switching over to the usage of fat, breaking down into ketones. That's where ketosis comes from, for the main source of energy.
And that's what I was saying, like the ketones are in the sweat, and so the areas that you generally would sweat more, that's where you get it. And, and it's symmetrical, which is pretty interesting.
All the crooks, essentially.
Yeah. So, so ultimately what it's saying is, okay, you eat, if you drink orange juice or you have, fruit or whatever, or however you normally get your carbohydrates, your glucose in, as long as you put enough in there, your body's going to be able to utilize that for energy.
Yeah.
Right? And that hurts you, why?
To have the actual sugar?
To use that as your energy source as opposed to fats.
Fats are going to be more dense calorically regardless. 1 gram of carbohydrates is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So simple math there, you more bang for your buck. But at the end of the day, when you eat glucose in any form or carbohydrates, usually you're getting a big insulin response. So that insulin drives your blood sugar out of the roof, and that gives you the necessary presence of insulin to store fat in your body. And a lot of people don't have a genetic tolerance to carbohydrates because we don't really move a lot. We don't use that as energy. So.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I did feel great on it. I was working out, and I actually felt like I was working out for longer. Yeah. My memory is the one thing I noticed that was really great. I was able to memorize stuff really well.
Awesome from brain health for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
And well, it's called brain octane too, so I started taking brain octane. Yep. I was kind of attributing it to that just because of the branding, but I don't know. There's more to that. Okay, so I saw the ketogenic diet. I've done paleo in the past, and it seems to be very similar. So what are the differences between ketogenic and paleo?
Paleo is going to be pretty much fair game with everything carbohydrate that's dense, in regards to berries. I think they even allow some starches in paleo depending on what take on it, in the CrossFit world, and the paleo is a big thing. So, if you're training CrossFit and you're eating paleo, which is a big combination, you're going to need those carbohydrates usually to perform at that high level with that much frequency and intensity and stuff like that. But that doesn't go for all the people that are 15+% body fat. They don't really need those carbohydrates. I would say that the difference is just mainly the starch that's allowed.
Got it. Now, one of the things that I got from you and some other guys was there's certain tests that I could do to learn more about myself, so I can see how my engine runs, and I can put the right oil in my car, right?
Absolutely.
So some cars need diesel, some need premium, some need a lead, and it doesn't make you better or worse. It's just different, like blood type A versus O, and so I went to go do blood work and a food allergy test. So what are the main things, like I know you require this for your clients, right?
Absolutely.
Like you say, I won't even take you on as a client until you perform these tests so I can really train you better.
Yep.
Right? And advise you better.
Absolutely.
What are those things?
I think the main things that I do are the male or female comprehensive panel, so just get a basic understanding of your hormones, your inflammation in the body, your ability to, like I said, handle insulin, blood sugar.
Where do you get that?
I usually a company called Life Extension, so online.
So lifeextensions.com?
lef.org.
lef.org?
Yep.
Okay.
You can go to your naturopath. Your basic physician, family physician should be able to do it as well.
I got it on Life Extension. It was like a couple $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's usually the best bet, and it's easier that way. But then an organic acids test, which is just a P test, and it tests essentially all the nutrients that you're not absorbing and everything else.
What do you mean you're not absorbing? What do you mean by that?
That might be a different conversation, but at the end of the day, you're an O and I'm an A. If I eat 100 grams of meat and you eat 100 grams of meat, you're probably going to digest more of that meat than I am because you have more stomach acid to break it down. So you're going to be able to assimilate and pull the nutrients out of that more so.
And one of the things too that because of that, I learned once you know your blood type and your tolerance and all that stuff, you learn what kind of diseases or issues you may deal with in the future. Like I learned I may deal with ulcers.
Yeah.
Because of the stomach acid stuff.
Yep.
Right? Okay, cool. So that's another real good reason to get it. Okay, so the hormone panel, what was the P test one?
Organic acids test.
Organic acids test, is that what you would search in Life Extensions?
OAT, oat test. Yeah,
okay.
You can usually do that with your naturopath. That would probably be the best bet.
Okay.
Or your holistic nutritionist. And then IgG test, which is just testing your response to your intolerance to food.
IgG?
Correct.
Okay, so it's your intolerance to food. So I know Steve Nash, who's known as one of the healthiest guys in the NBA.
Yeah.
he did a lot of that.
For sure.
And so
Look how long he played.
Yeah, and well, right? And so he knew that although spinach and tomatoes are very healthy, it's actually for him, it can cause more problems than good.
Absolutely.
Right? And so but for other people, it can cause more good than harm.
For sure.
Right? So just knowing what works well for you.
Exactly. And you know, once we get our gut healed and really figured out, the main source of a lot of our health is coming from our gut. So if we get that figured out, then you know, usually we can take on a little bit more food and have a little bit more leeway. That's a significant deposit into the realm of health for ourselves.
Cool. So if I wanted to work with you, is there more tests that I have to take too?
Start out with just that one. I mean, I'll do a body fat test is a big thing because there's a couple different points or 14 different points on the body that give you an indicator of you know, what is going on besides those tests. So you know, your gut, your different levels of inflammation, you know, how well you're detoxing, genetic tolerance to carbohydrates, things like that.
So what are your thoughts on like juice fasts?
Juice fasts have their place. You know,
Okay.
I think they're really good for actually rebuilding gut health. They take a lot of the necessary energy to break down food out of the equation, and they just absorb the nutrients, give you energy, and you can kind of go on that, and gives your gut, any type of fasting is going to give your gut time to heal.
Now you're an A, I'm an O. Would that play a difference in either A, should I juice fast versus you, or B, could you go 30 days, whereas maybe I should only stay at 3, or like just, does that change anything?
Yeah, I don't think that the 30 days is ever really going to be necessary.
30 days is a lot to just drink juice.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of other ways to be able to get more bang for your buck when it comes to your health than juice fast. But like I said before, everything works till it doesn't work.
Okay, got it. So now the people that you're working with that are doing these, you know, high performance training programs with you, they're obviously going through these tests. You're putting them on individual programming because of that, right? Like
Yep.
I would be on a different program than say Sam.
Yep.
Do you recommend, or at least ask them about their morning routines? And if they don't have one, do you give them recommendations? Or if they do have one, do you help modify it or improve it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's usually just that one thing that they do, and make sure that, okay, now you're doing that. Make sure that you do that, and then build off of that. You know, if they do their coffee, then you know, maybe I take them off carbohydrates, and that might benefit them to have a little bit of MCT oil in the morning for some energy. Say, hey, do your coffee, but now you're going to add this, you know, into the equation, blending up a little bit of coffee with this, you know, and then we'll let it add on to it, you know, because you can't really build a bunch of different habits at the same time. So if we can go one thing, until we have a full, you know, bulletproof morning, if you will, then move on from there.
So one thing too I learned about my blood type is that I actually can exercise, like I need to exercise.
Yeah.
Like 4 to 5, huh?
Don't we all?
Well, we all need to exercise, but like there's a certain amount of times per week that I need to, and in a way that I need to as well, like a HIIT style.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I never thought about that. You just think you have good days and bad days.
Yep.
But my wife can tell when I worked out, when I didn't work out that day.
Yeah.
I'm either very irritable, and these guys probably know too, but I can get pretty irritable if I did not work out.
Yeah.
Or I can be pretty calm and like everything's cool if I did work out.
Right.
So, but it works when I do it in the morning, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah.
So do you recommend, or does it depend on the person, morning workouts versus evening workouts?
Yeah, there's different parts throughout the day. Well, to precede that, a walk in the sun in the morning, I think, is probably one of the best things that you can do for your morning routine. Get out, go enjoy a 5 to an hour long, however much time you have, walk in the sun, enjoy it, you know, be thankful for the neighborhood you live in or whatever it is.
Okay.
Usually outside is better than a treadmill. But I would say that, yeah, there's different times during the day where people's androgens levels are higher, which is going to be a hormone that makes muscles hard, makes you kind of that aggressive nature, that drive to give you the urge and then the desire to work out. So some people have it in the morning, some people have it in the evening, but usually it's they've done so many studies, it's anywhere from, I think, 3 to 12 hours after you've woken up. So it really doesn't matter, as long as I think that you schedule the time to do so and then you stay consistent with that.
It says, Sam, I'm a hunter. Sam, that's what it said. I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
That's my genetics.
Yeah, I mean.
I've never hunted in my life.
Really?
Just in business. But not,
All right.
I've never like shot anything. I fished.
There you
I don't know
go.
if that counts.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about night routine.
Okay.
So what's a good night routine?
The shutting off blue light is going to be a big, huge contributing factor.
Well, what does that mean?
So I'll say that sleep is your best friend in regards to all health.
Okay.
If your sleep's great, usually everything else usually works itself out.
I should tell my kids that. They don't like go to sleep.
Yeah, they'll learn eventually.
Yeah.
Just like the vegetable thing. But so blue light's coming from artificial lights, whether it's your internet, your laptop, your cell phone, your TV, your whatever it is, and then the sun's going to be red light. So once you, like I was talking about before, getting some sun in the morning, so you're lined up with the sun, and when you're getting artificial light, now you're throwing that whole cycle off. So when the sun goes down, in an ideal world, you're not on your electronics at all. So if not, 2 to 3 hours, I think, before you go to bed is going to be ideal for that.
Now there's there's like a thing on my iPhone now where I can flick up and then I can hit the moon, the little moon icon.
Yep.
And that changes the light where it takes out like a lot of the blue light, right?
Yep.
And that's supposed to help with that?
For sure. You can actually get an app that's might be even better than that, just called Blue Blocker. So
Blue Blocker.
Blue Blocker glasses or anything like that that's going to help you with that. Because you can put those on and still watch yourself some TV, and it's no different.
Do you believe in taking supplements?
Yeah.
Because I know some people are like anti-supplements. I personally take supplements, but
Yeah, the nutrition that we have available nowadays is not what it used to be, so absolutely.
okay.
Supplement because it's supplement, it's not
Now,
a main source.
Are there supplements that you think everybody could and should take? Like general ones that like, hey, we just don't get enough in our diet this way without going overboard in the bad things?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that magnesium's a big part of that, zinc's a big part of that. Those probably wouldn't be the top two, but I would say fish oil, so some type of like cod liver oil I'm a big fan of, Carlson's lemon unless you can get down some original flavor. And then some probiotics are going to be really good for that as well.
Do you take those in the morning, at nighttime?
Probiotics would be right after your meal and
Like your breakfast or lunch or whatever?
whatever meal, yeah. So if
Okay.
you're taking them 3 times a day, it'd be after each one of those meals.
Oh, you take it after every meal?
Yep.
Okay, cod liver oil?
Cod liver oil, I usually do in the morning,
Okay.
just because it's kind of my morning. It's usually my breakfast, honestly. So.
Okay, what do you think about Udos or Udos? It's like omega 369.
Yeah, I
capsules.
think that we get a lot of omega-6s in the standard American diet as it
Okay.
is, so we don't really need a lot of 6s. I think that the EPA and DHA, only omega-3 fatty acids, are going to be the most beneficial.
Okay, so those take after every meal.
Yep.
Every meal? Like what if I
Probiotics
eat 6?
are.
Okay, probiotics I
Yep.
take after every meal. Is there like a milligram recommended dosage?
Usually they come in capsules per million or billion of bacteria that's present. You need
Okay.
1 million to start a colony, so some people just need 1 in the morning after their breakfast. Some people might need 3 depending on how bad their gut is.
Okay, so that's what you take after every meal. What about the cod liver oil?
I recommend at least 6 grams of omega-3s a day, at minimum.
Morning, afternoon, night?
I wouldn't say there's if it's put it into your routine, whether you want to do it right, and you're with your dinner or with your breakfast, whatever works best for you.
Magnesium, zinc?
Usually before you go to bed. Magnesium helps kind of shut down everything and get you relaxed.
Okay, what about melatonin?
Melatonin is usually not necessary if you get up in the morning and go for a walk in the sun.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, good. What about creatine, branched chain amino acids, and glutamine?
Glutamine's awesome, once again, going back to the gut health and for some recovery for your workout as well.
And you mentioned last time we talked, it's good for like if you're sick or if you're about to get sick.
Yeah,
or something.
absolutely.
How many grams of glutamine do you take per day?
Today I already took 30, so I might take another 30 today.
What about the average person that's like, I haven't taken glutamine ever?
Post-workout, hit yourself 10 to 15 grams.
10 to 15 grams?
Yep,
Okay.
just see how you feel.
And creatine?
Creatine, 1 to 5 grams. I know
You do
people
recommend taking it then?
I wouldn't say I recommend it, but it definitely has its place. It's beneficial. I've used it and had a lot of value from it.
What do you use it for? What's the goal?
I usually use it for, creatine monohydrate specifically brings some more fluid into the tissue. So if you feel like you want a little bit more help like recovery, getting a little stronger, bring some more hydration into your tissues, I think it'll help you working
And
out.
branched chain amino acids.
I do recommend those pretty much for everybody that has somewhat of a legitimate training regimen to have those intro workouts. So
Okay.
a little bit before and then while you're working out and finish them on your last rep.
Got it. Okay. And I don't plan, nor do I want to be Mr. Olympia or like the strongest man on the planet or anything.
Yeah.
Like the reason I work out, 2 reasons. One, because I want to be the best version of myself as far as like mentally, the CEO, these guys count on, all that. And then 2, because when I'm 80 years old, I want to be just as valuable, or at least as much as I can be as I am today.
Right.
Right. So with that said, I mean, what type of a training program do you think I need? Do I need to be in the gym 6 hours a week, an hour? So what's like a minimum recommendation for me to get to that goal?
I think everybody can have the body of their dreams and feel as good as they want with 4 45-minute workouts a week.
Really? Does that include cardio?
That includes cardio.
So between that, healthy eating, proper supplementation, we should be able to hit everything.
Yes, sleep
Okay.
is sleep is king.
And sleeping well and knowing how to do it for your body.
Absolutely.
Gage, there's so much more we could talk about because I know this right now has been like a half hour.
Right.
But you and I have talked for a couple hours already.
Absolutely.
And cumulatively, maybe 3.
For sure.
And I feel like we just kept going. So we're probably going to have you come back for a part 2 one day
Okay.
and talk more about this stuff. But man, I've learned so much from you. And so what's the name of your website? How can people get a hold of you if they want to learn from you, whether it's because they want to be better trainers or because maybe they want to be high performers themselves and want to, have you coach them? How would they get a hold of you?
I'm on Instagram as Spiritual Meathead, and all lowercase, all one word. And then Facebook is at Spiritual Meathead. That's my business page as well. And then spiritualmeathead.com.
Spiritual Meathead, Mr. Gage Galusha. Guys, thank you so much for watching or for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to thegsdshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.